You know, there's a fundamental shift happening in artificial intelligence, and it is about to completely reshape one of the most data-heavy industries in the world, the legal sector. So, if you're building your strategy for 2026, you gotta understand this change. Honestly, it's not just an option, it's absolutely critical.
$113 billion. That's a huge number, right? Well, that's the estimated annual savings that are currently just locked away, trapped by inefficiencies inside the legal industry. For decades, everyone's just accepted this as an unavoidable cost of doing business. But that's all about to change.
So here's the big idea for your 2026 plan. That black box of legal risk, that massive cost center on your books, we're now seeing it get transformed into a real source of data-driven insight, a genuine competitive advantage. And this is all happening because of a huge shift in how AI actually works.
So let's dig into how we got here. We're going to look at the old way of doing things versus the new. And look, this isn't just some minor update. We're talking about a completely new engine for generating intelligence. For years, legal tech was really just a numbers game, wasn't it? It was all about keyword searches. It was pretty good at telling you what happened in a case. But this new era is all about something called semantic reasoning. We are literally moving from systems that just find words to an AI that understands legal concepts, human intent, and all the complicated connections between them. It doesn't just find the data, it explains why the data matters.
Naturally, this new way of thinking requires a new kind of tool, one that's been built from the ground up for the very specific challenges of legal work. A generic model just isn't going to cut it here. This has to be about purpose-built intelligence.
And let's be really clear about this. VeriLex AI is not another chatbot. It's not a slightly better search bar. It is a dedicated litigation intelligence system designed specifically to navigate, analyze, and pull real insights from that incredibly complex world of legal data. At its core, the power of VeriLex AI comes from bringing together three things that have, until now, lived in totally separate worlds. The hard rules of legal precedent, the subtle patterns of human behavior you see in testimony, and the deep context that you can only find in expert academic research. So how does fusing all this data actually create value? Right? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that's driving all these new capabilities. Okay, it all starts with something called the VeriLex graph. Now, don't think of it as a database. Think of it more like a dynamic, living map of the entire legal landscape. It pulls in all your case data and builds this incredible knowledge graph, mapping all the connections between cases, laws, and precedents. What you get is a single, unified view of the entire matter that you can actually navigate.
Now, the second piece is where the human element really comes into play, VeriLex Signal. This layer analyzes depositions and testimony to figure out how a witness normally communicates, their behavioral baseline. Then it detects these tiny but critical deviations from that norm, little shifts in language, patterns of evasion, moments of stress, and it flags these key moments for an expert attorney to review.
And this is a really crucial point. This system is designed to empower your legal experts, not replace them. It's not a lie detector. Its entire purpose is to surface patterns and important inconsistencies, freeing up your attorneys to focus their strategic brainpower where it's going to have the biggest impact.
Okay, so that's the tech, but what does all this actually mean for your bottom line? How does this translate into a real competitive edge for your business? First off, let's talk about speed. We're seeing teams using this new class of AI find relevant legal research and precedents up to 90% faster than the old way. I mean, tasks that used to take a junior associate hours, sometimes days, can now be done in minutes. Next up, cost. You know that black hole of litigation budgets, high-volume document review? Well, that can be slashed by as much as 80%. The system can just tear through thousands of documents automatically, flagging risks and key clauses. And finally, we get to productivity. By automating all these repetitive, data-intensive tasks, you can boost your overall attorney productivity by up to 35%. This frees up your top legal minds to focus on what they do best: high-level strategy, negotiation, and advising clients. And I want to be clear, this is not some niche trend we're talking about here. We are looking at a market that's already valued at over $2 billion in 2025 and is projected to more than triple by 2034. Getting on board with this technology isn't about following a fad, it's about making a strategic move to position your company for a massive industry shift. So, as you finalize your growth strategy for 2026, you really have a choice to make. Is your legal function going to stay a reactive cost center, that same old black box of risk, Or are you going to use these new tools to turn it into a proactive, data-driven source of competitive advantage? The technology is here. The decision is yours.